You guys know what time it is. Get strapped in and ready for some good times. This is the Blowed Out Podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It's your favorite fatty with a natty. Coming at you from the cold. Now it's really cold, northern Utah. I don't know what things are like where you are, but we went from unseasonably warm to, oh hell, it's 20 overnight, seemingly. We, one of the childs, and I went out last weekend. Ogden has what I would say is probably a fairly famous Christmas village downtown, and every year they do a parade and a Santa run and fireworks and everything when they plug in Christmas Village, and it's an entire city block with, Lord, I think this year it's like 63 or 64 little cottages that are full of all kinds of cool stuff. You can sponsor them and put your company's name on them and stuff, and they're cool. It's a really cool place. I'm sure you could find it online if you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, the girl child and I braved the elements last weekend to go see the parade and the fireworks, and of course, as always, they put on a spectacular show. It really is. The parade was way longer than I wanted to stand there with a bunch of rude, ignorant folks, which was kind of the point of bringing that whole thing up. They estimated there was probably 30,000 people there, and no joke, it was stupid. My chunky ass hoofed, let's see, six blocks just to get into the action, and then from where we were able to park the car. But I cannot get over just how many people are ignorant in those situations. I know a lot of people who went, a lot of people who had a great time. We had a great time, don't get me wrong, but man, on what planet or where are these people learning that they're not just the only people on the planet? I don't get it. It'd be just trudging through people who, they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn about you. They're going to get a selfie with their kid in front of the parade, whether or not they sit on your lap or stand in front of you or, drop a biscuit while they're parked right in the middle of the sidewalk in front of you in the only lane of travel that there is. It's madness. And of course, I hate most every minute of that because my tolerance for ignorance and stupidity has gotten to be much less over the years. I would normally like to attribute that to old age. However, I'm pretty sure it's just people. And I hate to say that because I really try and, at least be half decent to everybody as long as they are deserving of me being half decent to them. But man, it just seems to be getting worse by the day. I don't know about you guys. And I'm sure there's places that are a lot worse than here, so I'm certainly not crying by any means. Either way, it was a good time. Kicks off the holiday season. Hope wherever you guys are, whatever situations you may be in, hopefully you can at least get in the holiday spirit a little bit. It's not what it used to be. I'm sure I've touched on this many times, probably the last episode, but I'm giving it the old college try just because, it's what you're supposed to do, right? What you're not supposed to do, well, I guess that depends on how you look at things. You should probably not take to the internet and cry like Rosie O'Donnell, that upstanding piece of human flesh, crying that her, Lord, I should have probably taken notes, but her non-binary autistic, I could probably go on ADHD, high-functioning God knows what else list of whatever she claims is wrong with her kid. Blames Trump. It's all Trump's fault for the fact that they had to flee the U.S. You can't make this shit up, guys. So, of course, and I don't know how old it is, apparently. Non-binary, right? It's not mean to call it it, them, they, them, I don't know. Whatever horseshit this troglodyte of a human is blaming everything except herself on them leaving the country. And if we're being quite honest, man, why couldn't it have happened years earlier? You know, she's not relevant anymore. Nobody actually gives a fat shit what she thinks or says or does. Just like Lizzo or Rizzo or, I don't know, Pizzo, that says that if you like Trump or MAGA or any of the other things that everyone is so ate up with, that you're not allowed to listen to her music, as though anyone was doing that anyhow. Man, are you kidding me? All the stuff going on in the world, and you think that somehow your dumbass is relevant enough to say things like that? Come on. You want to talk about delusional? I don't even think that. And I have what some people have called over the years a God complex. Which, of course, is not true. I know I'm nobody, but good Lord. I don't care if I had sold a Brazilian records. For me to think that somebody's gonna stop listening because they support Trump or Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or any of them is outside of their damn minds. The only thing she should be worried about is her A1C. And I can say that because I, too, am a large individual. But I don't run around half naked on stage pretending that I'm not. I mean, I'll do it, you know, at the pool or, nah, you know what, that's fair. If I had a stage, I would do it there too. But that's just because that's just me. I'll do it just because. I don't give a damn. No shame in my game. Where there should be some shame in somebody's game, at least in my opinion, one fat man's opinion, is the folks that are so ate up. I have never seen so many folks ate up over a Colombian fisherman, yet don't have a damn thing to say about the 20-year-old National Guard member that was shot and killed, sadly. So, you know, rest in peace, Sarah. But, by damn it, they're sure worried about this Colombian fisherman in tens of thousands of people talking about it on social media. That they're just so ate up. I have never, like I said, I've never ever seen so many people worked up about something that no one actually knows. No one actually has any facts yet. Right? Some people say it was a drug boat and they were ditching bales of cocaine or whatever, which, lucky, somebody's picking those bales up, right? I mean, I ain't saying I'd do it all myself, but be a nice little Christmas bonus if one of them happened to end up in my garage, right? But the other half says, oh no, they were just fishing. Well, okay. Let's look at this from both sides, shall we? There are sport fishing boats that go 100 miles an hour with 5 outboard engines. Yes, that is true. If you are very wealthy and decide you want a 45-foot badass center console with 1,000 horsepower of outboard engines, and you can afford it to just go catch some, I don't know, tarpon or I don't know, sailfish, some sort of sport fish in some ocean that I'll probably never get to see. Now, the flip side of that, okay, Colombian, sure. Are there probably a grundle of folks in Colombia that could afford such a boat just for the sake of fishing? Absolutely. Are there poor, and that's not even a fair assessment to call them poor, but are there what one would assume to be poor or not well-to-do fishermen who just happen to be out in the middle of the night that are just fishing to support their family on a 1,000 horsepower, 100-mile-an-hour boat? Probably not. I mean, I feel fairly safe in saying that. Don't get me wrong. I could be wrong. I absolutely could be wrong. However, when you take into consideration the demographics of Colombia, I would say it's probably pretty far-fetched. Now, here's the fun, double-edged sword to all this. Is it okay to just go blowing people out of the water? No. I don't agree with that. I'm not saying that we were well within our rights to do so. I'm not saying I support them doing it. That's not what I said. That's not what I'm implying. However, I would dare say that they didn't just say, hey, there's a boat, pull the trigger. That just isn't how things work. It's just not. I guarantee the DEA and HSI and all of those entities who it's their job, the Coast Guard, everyone involved, who it's their job to monitor these things and keep tabs on them and surveil them, I guarantee they did not just go willy-nilly on, hey, there's a boat with no lights, that's just fishing. Let's go ahead and fire on them. Come on. That's the dumbest damn thing I've ever heard. Now, again, you don't have to agree with me, obviously, on anything, but you cannot deny the fact, whether you feel like anyone was right, wrong, or indifferent, you cannot deny the fact that it just doesn't make sense for them to blow a random boat out of the water just 'cause. Whether you agree with them blowing it up in the first place, whether you agree or not that it was a fisherman or a drug runner, it doesn't matter. Any of that doesn't matter. What you cannot deny is the fact that they would not have spent the time and resources and everything else if they didn't feel like there was a just cause. Is it possible that it's some sort of, cause waves to piss some people off and throw a conspiracy out there, or, get out of my sandbox kind of power move? Of course, that's always a possibility. But again, you have a whole bunch of agencies and entities involved that aren't just sitting around drinking coffee and then go, oh, wait, a boat? Oh, shit, yeah, we'll be there in 5 minutes to blow them up. Come on, that just doesn't make any sense, guys. It just doesn't. So, all the folks that are so ate up with that, but apparently don't give a damn about a couple of guard members that were shot, probably really need to rethink their priorities, or at least their stand or their views, because that's just not okay. The loss of life, no matter what, across the board, sucks no matter what. Like I said, I'm not trying to justify loss of life on any scale or stage. I'm saying that there apparently someone somewhere felt like there was a good reason. And the fact that everyone is more ate up with that than what is actually happening at home probably is a pretty good indicator. And I know that it's not you guys, but that's probably a pretty good indicator of why we are where we are at this moment in society. And I'll just go ahead and throw that out there and wait for the wait for the emails to roll in on that one. But that's how I view it. And it seems strange that anyone else wouldn't at least view it objectively rather than just jumping sides just to be on a side. And I hate to say it, but there are a lot of folks in mainstream media that like to use the analogy that Trump could cure cancer and people will still hate him. We've been over this before. I'm not a Trumper. I'm not what a lot of people may think I am. I don't like any of them. But that's kind of starting to ring true a lot more. You know, do I think it's right? Absolutely not. But man, it sure seems to fit the narrative at the moment, doesn't it? Are you a business owner or marketing director for your company? Would you like to explore the potential benefits of advertising on the show? The Blowed Out Podcast currently reaches listeners in over 104 cities spread across 13 countries worldwide. To explore advertising options, including budgeting and frequency, email us at blowedoutpodcast@gmail.com and be sure to include marketing in the subject line. Damn, Sam, what I did forget is to say that I hope everyone had a fantastic Thanksgiving. It doesn't seem like that was just last week. It seems like I probably pushed that memory deep into the recesses of my mind already, but I did, we had a pretty good Thanksgiving. Went and spent some time with my dad and his wife and my stepbrother. And so it was really good to hang out and see them. And then I got to spend some time with my kids' family, which is a really good time also. Anybody who knows, but that's funny. It's funny because it's funny, but I do love them. So it was nice. Unfortunately, that entails about I don't know, we'd call it roughly a 120, 130 mile round trip to the bowels of Salt Lake County. But overall, it was good. So I hope you guys had a good one also. Hope you got some good eats and, hopefully at least somebody came out or confessed a murder or something crazy. Because, you got to have some sort of bullshit on Thanksgiving, right? That's just how it goes. Anyhow, hope yours was great. To get back, something a little closer to home that just happened today, so maybe some of you don't know about. Maybe some of you don't even know it happened, but about 6 months ago, we had a No Kings rally here. I'm sure you guys actually, now that I think about it, no, because I probably bitched about it and how dumb I think they are. Well, so this peaceful, air quotes, peaceful No Kings rally in Salt Lake, there was a gentleman that decided he was going to open carry a AR-15, or an AR-15 style weapon. And now there are folks saying that if you know him from the protest scene, you know that that's just what he does. And he's super cool and he wouldn't hurt a fly. Okay, fine. I don't care. I think it's dumb to go traipse around for however many hours packing around that much shit around my neck. But that's just me. I'll reserve that for when it's necessary. However, There was again, air quote, peacekeeper that decided he was a threat and decided that he should apparently just fire at this guy like a dumb shithead. So he shot at the guy with the AR and clipped him in the leg or something. Don't come at me. I don't know the specifics, but it was a non-life-threatening injury. But what he also did was pop off a bunch of rounds because he apparently had no business owning a weapon in the first place, nor was he smart enough to not fire into a crowd, and unfortunately shot and killed an innocent bystander. Well, just today. So that was 6 months ago. And I'm sure you guys know all this. It was definitely in the news. But just today, they finally charged that guy with second-degree manslaughter after 6 months of having the other guy that got hit that was just open carrying, which is legal, 100% legal in Utah. He has been in jail the whole time. Now let's just go ahead and call this what it is. If you happen to think that you're, well, I don't know, a patriot or someone who fancies themselves handy with the steel, if you will, and you decide to nominate yourself as a peacekeeper at an event with probably 10,000 folks, you should probably not be so fucking dumb as to pull out your weapon and just start firing at someone who isn't doing anything wrong, first of all. Also, firing into a crowd of 10,000 people. Yeah. We can probably just sew this one up with you can't fix stupid, right? Right? You know, I'm a huge fan of carrying concealed. Every once in a great while, I will carry open just because I like to watch the reactions. but it's very, very rare, and it's only in certain circumstances, and it's literally just, because I like to poke the bear. We all know that. I haven't done it for a long time. Like I said, every once in a while, if I'm going to Hot Topic in the mall, sure, I'll wear a thigh rig. That's a hoot. Not saying it's the smartest thing to do, absolutely not, but it's still fun. However, come on, man. If you're going to carry, you better know what the hell you're doing, how to use it, and most importantly, when. I know I don't have to tell most of you guys that. I would hope all of you, but you never know. Some folks like to go to Walmart, with a Kel-Tec 1911 knockoff in American flag grunt style holster open carry with, 3 babies in the cart and just peruse the produce section. I don't, I'm sure that I'm gonna get in someone's craw over this, but it's not the smartest thing to do. And again, you better damn well know how to use it and when to use it. That's all I'm saying. Anyhow, super glad they finally charged this guy because he's a dumbass, clearly. Super glad they let the other guy out of jail. Maybe this will be his wake-up call, either to not open carry an AR-15, which, again, I don't disagree with. If you want to carry that shit around all day, go for it. Doesn't bother me at all. Maybe you just shouldn't go to protests with 10,000 people open carrying, because apparently that's how you get shot. And also, probably my single biggest problem with open carrying in general. Anyhow, figured I'd throw that out there. Times are wild. I sure as hell am not going to advertise that I'm packing anything other than old Jack Johnson and Dr. Bruce Stevenson over here, or whatever the hell he said. My guns aren't what they used to be, but by damn it, I've got one good one left in me at least. Ha! Which just reminded me of all the folks on social media. I know I shouldn't be on social media, but it's fun. I got to try and advertise somehow. And I love messing with folks. So, the gal that just got attacked in New York. And when I say it like that, because I don't know the whole story, but the video that mainstream media is circulating is what appears to be this dude who, yes, I know that he's a huge pile of shit and should have been probably guillotined years ago, but all you see is what appears to be him running up and smacking her on the ass, right? I assume you've all seen the same video. Maybe there's another one out there floating around that I haven't seen. Apparently, he did that and also pushed her to the ground. Okay, sure. It's all on CCTV. Another reason not to be stupid in public. However, all the folks on social media, like, let's say 10,000, okay, comments. Of those 10,000, several, if not half, several thousand, if not half, are all saying, oh no, girl, you need to exercise your 2A. You need to carry. You should have done this. You should have pewed that. Again, here we go back to the somehow today's logic of if a dude slaps you on the ass in the subway or wherever they were, that you could have pulled your weapon and shot that dude, and on some planet didn't think you were going to prison. Okay. Now, if he pushed her to the ground, still, you might be able to wing him and get away with it. But I am almost positive if someone pushes you to the ground and runs off and you plug him dead, or her, them, you better have a hell of a lot of money for a lawyer, and you better pray to God you're in a state that is okay with it. I'm here to tell you, if you go shooting a dude in New York City, you're going to prison. Unless he somehow was doing something that could end your life. And I'm not talking about like, I could have hit my head on the concrete, which is true. However, that's not how they're going to see it. And I could be wrong, but I really don't think so. I really think you're going to play hell for months and months and months to the tune of several $100,000 in court, and you're still going to end up in prison. Again, what I saw was just her getting slapped on the ass. Does it make it okay? No. Does it make it right? Absolutely not. But, the news story says, oh, she's just mortified and this and that and her. So does it also mean that you can spend the next 10 years in therapy because you have PTSD from somebody slapping you on the ass? I don't know. I have a hard time with that. I'm sure that I don't know the whole story, so I really hate to try and pass any type of concrete judgment on it. Like I said, turns out the dude was a scumbag. Like 17 prior convictions for this type of shit. So he should have been curb stomped years and years ago. Now that all has to come with a caveat, because had I witnessed it, I certainly would have done something. The half a dozen people behind her that didn't say anything, apparently. Of course, she was wearing headphones, but, and if it was my daughter or my sister or my wife or, then I certainly would have shattered both of his arms and the sockets that they go into, which should have happened. But we go back to this whole taking a life thing. Is a dumb shit move worth getting hospitalized for? Absolutely. Is it worth dying? I don't think I would go that far. Is he a piece of shit who probably deserves it and should have been years ago? Probably. But for that specific act, I feel like, that's probably a lot. Again, hard to say, just like everything else. All we're getting is what they want us to get, the bits and pieces from mainstream or social media or both. So it's hard to say. It's hard to have any real conviction on it because, hell, for all we know, it never even happened. It just the sad state of things now. AI has gotten really, really good. Fantastic for music. Really bad for knowing if shit's real. But regardless, so you kind of have to, unfortunately, take everything with a grain of salt. Like I said, I certainly would not have pulled my weapon if I had had one and started shooting. That I can say with 100% conviction. The rest of it, who knows? Like I said, trip him, maybe have an unfortunate accident with some hand railing that was close. Sure, absolutely. But, again, who actually knows? I wasn't there, so is what it is. The only things we do know without a shadow of a doubt is that we are wrapping up. Well, yeah, by the time this hits, we'll be heading into the bottom of the first week of December, and shit is crazier than it's ever been, and 'tis the season. Don't see that slowing down anytime soon. So, until we talk again, which will be soon, I hope everyone is safe. Keep your head on a swivel. Jump on all those great Christmas sales for preparedness items, if you will. Try and be decent out there. Don't go ramming anybody on purpose like I want to daily. But like I said, until we talk again, try and keep the dirty side down, stay safe, and we'll talk to you real soon. Love you guys. Cheers.